Hi, everybody. This is Dan Stolbarger. Welcome to the update. It's May 30th, and we're going to look back upon this last week, the things that's transpired and impact Israel of today. And just an encouragement, you want to make sure you grab the PDF PowerPoint that accompanies this short video. We always begin with the as I see it. By the way, that PDF can be it should just be a link on the YouTube page that you're on right now, or you can go to our website at holygroundexplorations.com. Okay, we usually start with as I see it, and again, with everything that's happening, the focus is Rafah, and with everything that's transpiring, 1.2 million people, refugees being moved out of the Rafah area. All eyes are on Rafah. We're seeing that movement take place throughout the world these days. Here's the bottom line. For Israel, harming civilians is a tragedy. For Hamas, harming civilians is a strategy. That's the bottom line. If there are any casualties, October 7th is the date that needs to be circled, and the blame of whatever civilian tragedies happen to be has to be put upon Hamas. They are the ones that started this whole diabolical, demonic attack. Well, that's as I see it. Now, we get into our news bites. Nikki Haley has been spending time in a solidarity trip to Israel, and her quote is, "The worst kept secret in the UN is that of anti-Semitism." And she said, "It operates below the surface on everything. I saw it in my first few days as a job as the U.S. ambassador in the UN. And after I met with the Israeli ambassadors and I got the lay of the land, it is inevitable. It is everywhere in the UN. And we see this dramatic rise of anti-Semitism in this day, and we should not be shocked, although we truly are." The UN General Assembly is quick. They were quick to pay tribute to the butcher of Tehran, Rossi, but they still have not condemned the October 7th massacre upon Israel. And the cynics are asking, when Sinwar is actually neutralized, will there be a moment of silence in the UN for Sinwar? Spain, Norway, in Ireland formally recognized the Palestinian state on Tuesday in a coordinated effort from the three Western European nations. Major concern because this recognition of a Palestinian state, shape it whatever way you want. Bottom line is that Hamas, the Palestinians, are being rewarded for October 7th. Donald Trump has told Jewish donors that earlier in this month that if he's elected in November, that he will deport anti-Israeli protesters and defeat the radical revolution that's taken place on our campuses these days. One of those campaign promises. And then, I hate to have this snarky little laughter, but the $320 million pier that taxpayers here in the United States paid for, the floating dock in Gaza, is completely dismantled and starting to sink. So, that's our news bites. Our articles for this week. The first one is about a false report in Rafah, the things that took place, this massacre, because now all eyes are on Rafah, and we've heard about this fire that broke out, and Israel's being blamed for it, and there were up to 45 casualties. The bottom line is, now that the report has come out, is that so-called massacre story is falling apart. The attack did not take place in the designated safe zone, but a kilometer away. The fire was caused nearby by a Hamas vehicle that was loaded with explosives. So the bottom line, where all fingers are blaming Israel for this horrific event, once again, not guilty. Hamas. If you're going to blame someone, once again, Hamas. Amir Tsarfati, a good friend of Kafir, of Holy Ground. Again, I'm just quoting him. I just read this, and it says, important. I cannot overstate the significance of what's taking place right now in the Philadelphia Corridor. It's the most crucial achievement in this war. This is the most consequential day since 10/7, and it's a new chapter because Hamas is fully cut off now. No more weapons, no more fuel, no more anything coming into Gaza without first passing through the IDF. Every weapon, every munition, the IDF will now be able to deduct in the final count. It's not the end of the war, but it's the beginning of the end of Hamas. And in slide number 6, you're going to see the slide of the Philadelphia Corridor. And again, the slide actually says that the IDF now controls approximately 75%. As of this morning, it's 100%. So back to what Amir has said, this is a significant achievement, and it is truly the beginning of the end of Hamas. And then when we're into this two-state solution, post-war, what's going to happen, there's an article here that I've simply called the Fatah Myth. This is for those that think that somehow we can remold or reshape the Palestinian Authority to be the peacekeepers, the in-between, the ones that we can trust to control Gaza after the war. That is a myth. And the details have now come out that the Palestinian Authority, the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade, which is their military arm of that, the Fatah, they participated in the October 7th massacre. So again, the details are coming out. This is no friend. This is no peace partner of Israel. A couple more things before we go. I mentioned Nikki Haley was spotted this week in Israel, making her presence known. I have a photo here. This way you want to make sure you get that PDF PowerPoint. She's signing rockets. And if you want to know where she stands in all of this, what she wrote on the message of an artillery shell was simply, that's going to be shot at Hamas and Hezbollah targets, simply says, finish them. America loves Israel. Always, Nikki Haley. And then she goes on to say, if the Palestinians truly want a better life, they need to get rid of Hamas. They need to change leadership. They need to understand that they're in this situation because of the leaders that are around the world. And so that's the bottom line. Again, we'll see where she lands in the upcoming elections. Secretary of State, some think that that's what her hope is. But once again, in some of the primaries, I had some questions, but when it comes to Israel, I think Nikki Haley is crystal clear. And her last comment was to Israel before leaving was Tune out the noise, finish the job. Don't let anybody make you feel wrong, because Israel is not wrong in this. And then we have Bibi Netanyahu being invited to Congress, and the Democrats are split on how to react to House Speaker Mike Johnson's plan to invite Netanyahu to address a joint session of Congress. And again, it remains unclear if Bibi would even accept an invitation to speak, but it's going to show once again the great divide that Israel presents to the Biden administration. And then, while we're speaking of Congress closer to home, I guess you would say that Rashida Tlaib, once again, there are some in Congress that are looking for an expulsion of her. She was a featured speaker at the People's Conference for Palestine in Detroit. It's a radical gathering that featured numerous speakers affiliated with the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine. That's called the PFLP. And that, by the way, has been designated as a foreign terrorist organization. And so her being a part of this, once again, all we need to hear next, besides just that Israel's committing genocide, and from the river to the sea, Palestine shall be free, we're going to start hearing what? Death to, America. All right. This new movement, we're ending with this new movement, All Eyes on Rafah. In this slide number 11, you're going to see the signs that are out. But the one that I want you to look at is the one on the right on this slide that says, if your eyes are on Rafah, help us find our hostages. And so once again, as we sort of conclude, we want to be reminded of how many are still being held captive and to pray for their release. A couple of things before signing off. I had to include this. It's a post from Khamenei, the Iranian Ayatollah, who basically sent out this and posted it on his Facebook account, right, or Twitter. He says, "Dear university students in the United States of America, you are standing on the right side of history." And my friend Amir writes, when this demon-possessed criminal is on your side, you better know you're on the wrong side. So, Khamenei. All right, and then last up is we are going to Israel November 7th through 17th. We're referring to this experience as the land, the people, and the king. And we are excited because it's at this point in time that Israel doesn't need just visitors, but Israel needs friends. So please pray about joining us in the land where it all began. So again, a lot of information to process. One thing to take away is that God hears our prayers. And pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Pray for innocent lives that God will protect. But we put all things into his hands. Amen. God bless you. Shalom.